Hello, my friends. Hello. Hello, my friends. Hello, my friends. Hello, my friends. Hello. Oh no. Hello, my friends. Well, if you want to know what that's all about, oh, look at my beautiful. If you want to know what that's all about, stick around for my teaching story. We have been playing around with this instrument in some of my classes, and needless to say, it's a difficult instrument. It's an electronic instrument called the Theremin, and my students are learning about it and learning about its creator. So I will share some of that after the cross stitch stuff. Welcome! My name is Kaylee. This is Kaylee Cross Stitch, and we hit 300 subscribers! What? It is April 20th, 2021, and I'm shocked. The 300 subscribers is like, yeah, I don't know what to say about it, except thank you, and that's so cool. Welcome. If you're new here, thank you for joining, thank you for subscribing, thank you for following along. I hope you enjoy what you see here. I am a cross stitcher. This is a channel about cross stitch, but I do sprinkle in my music things and what I am teaching my elementary students as well. So that's going to be at the end of this video. I'll show you what that instrument was all about. And yeah, let's get into the cross stitch stuff, shall we? I usually like to just chop through it. Last week you saw my stitch with me, and then the week before I did a live, which I would like to do more and more live videos, and I'm thinking about doing like Stitch with Me's live, and the setup that I used in my previous video, my last video, Stitch with Me, is kind of how I want to do it. But I'm waiting on a better computer because the computer that I am using is slow-ish, and we bought a gaming computer. Anyway, let me just keep blabbing on. So I have a few projects to show you, and I have a lot of progress on one of my full coverage projects, which I'm very excited about. And then I will show you those projects, my progress, and the theremin at the end. So let's get to it. My first project is one of my United States patterns. This is Alabama, and this one is on 25 count even weave, easy guide, and this is how far I am. I have been very bad and have not updated my Instagram on this since I was like in these trees here, so sorry. I always take this out, put it in the hoop, stitch, and then roll it up because I don't want like cat hair any more than is already in there to be on there, so I always forget to take a picture of it. So this is, yeah, again, 1/1 on 25 count. I am about 56%, and since you saw it last 2 weeks ago, I put 771 stitches in, which is not very much for me in a week, but you will see where my stitchy progress was. Yeah, so that's Alabama. This is from, Stitches Lovers Shop on Etsy. And something really exciting, I got a message on Instagram of someone saying that they bought that set of patterns, the set of 50 patterns, and we were talking back and forth about, you know, what kind of finishing the set really deserves, and we were putting ideas back and forth, and I can't say I'm closer to figuring out how I want to finish them. I know a couple videos ago I was like, oh, I don't know how I want to finish that. But hopefully we can bounce more ideas off each other. Okay, then my piece that I did in my Stitch With Me, which is the Moroccan sampler. This is from Cliffside Stitches on Etsy, and I really recommend this shop. They have a whole bunch of heritage samplers and heritage pieces. So I have already done one, the Palestine sampler, which you can check out either my Instagram or Flosstube. And then this is my progress on the Moroccan sampler. And I have to say, this is like the first piece that I have really made a nice border on. This is a size of fabric. I don't know what it is. And I just decided to use the whole piece of fabric for it. So the last time I showed you this was 2 weeks ago with my mom. And since then, I just put in this motif during my Stitch With Me and a little bit extra after that. This is on 32 count flax, I think this is. I think I said something wrong the last time. But this is such a beautiful pattern, and these colors really go well together, I think. And it's very fun to work on. I don't have a reason why this hasn't been out more, but I just love stitching on this, and I'm definitely going to be stitching more of her patterns. I haven't bought any more because this was the last one that I bought that I was like, okay, stop buying patterns. And so once my pattern buying ban is up, I will buy this, or another one of their patterns, and one of these is probably going to be in my rotation at all times because they're gorgeous. And it's my like linen stitching. I'm getting into a lot of different fabrics, as you saw with the Alabama. That's my first one on 1 over 125 count. And so I like keeping linen, but I also, if I'm doing 1 over 1, I want to do like even weave. Since you saw that, that motif that I showed you is 516 stitches. And I don't have a percentage on this because it's not Pattern Keeper compatible. So this one is just, I count the stitches, which takes a while, but it's kind of nice to know how many I can do in a day. And for this one, I usually do quite a few stitches in a session because of the needle that I use. It goes through the fabric really quickly. Okay, and then the only other piece that I worked on, I just remembered. I have a finish from 3 weeks ago, when I was doing my editing, my shortest video. I showed this to you because I was like, this is what I've been doing while I've been editing, and I did finish it. Here's looking at you, kid. I just remembered this. This is from my Stitchly kit that was sent to me for free, and I tried out their product, and I really like it for beginning cross stitchers. So if somebody is like, help me start, this is a great kit. It comes with all of the colors that you need. It comes with all the fabric that you need. It comes with really good, sorry if that was odd, really good instructions, hoops. It comes with one of these printed patterns, which I'm not going to stitch on that. I think I'm going to see if my husband will stitch on it. I want to see him try it. I've talked about this before, so if this is not a great review, then check out one of the other videos. And there's people who have went through this kit on their Flosstubes and whatnot. Okay, my most progress is my supersized USA. Supersized. This is a pattern from Cross Stitch V on Etsy. And it is very big, 999 by 747. And I stitched 5,840 10 stitches since you last saw it. This is on 25 count Easy Guide, 2 over 1 10 stitch. And I am at 2.91%, almost to 3%. Periodically, I like to, on my Instagram, I like to put in like the fabric, the floss, how many colors and all that in the description. I don't do that for every single video, but if I hit a milestone percentage, then I usually include that. So for this project, it's going to be every 1%. So get ready for like 5 years of this showing up on my Instagram. Since you saw it last, I finished This diagonal, and so I've gotten all the way down to here with this one. I did the moose. Isn't he cute? Little moose. I got a lot of Washington in wash, and then I got to work on this Oregon part. Finished the cherries, Salem, and the second star is done. Oh, and I had a page finish as well, which I need to put that on my Instagram too. So it's coming along. I think that I have kind of strayed away from stitching this strictly on the diagonal. Because, like, especially in this star and then in these trees, you had like 2 stitches and then it appeared in the next diagonal. So I didn't want to stitch like one, park, wait until I get down here to park it over here. I just ended up stitching a little bit cross country, which maybe, I mean, it doesn't matter, but my like really meticulous brain was like, oh, I should just be parking these so that I can bring my needle up in an empty hole. But when it's 10 stitches, doesn't matter too much because there's only two occurrences of the thread through the hole instead of 4, like full cross would be. If I'm not making any sense, please send me a message and I'll see if I can explain this. And I'm thinking about doing a video, a stitch with me, where I do talk about just the process that I use for diagonal stitching. And of course, it's stolen from other stitchers, my process. So yeah, very excited about my progress on this, and I don't think I'm gonna slow down. I think I'm gonna keep going on this. I've usually been getting over 600 stitches in a day when I stitch on this, sometimes double that. So very exciting. It's just so pretty. I keep looking at it. And I've started like multiple diagonals, so if I don't feel like working on pink, then I'm gonna move down here and work on yellow, or if I want to work on green, I can move up here. Idaho is in there with red, so some exciting things. And I can, if I want to work on blocks of color, I can stay up here. If I want to work on confetti, I work down here. So it's a lot of variety, and this is really fun. Okay, my last thing that I'm going to show you is I have not worked on it, but I have taken it out of the Q-snap. And I have not put it back into the Q-snap yet because I worked on it. And I kind of waited until I recorded so I could show you this. This is my FOP. And I love this pattern. It's black and white, and it's from stitchyourphoto.com, which was where I just inputted the black and white photo and it made a cross stitch pattern for me. So this is where I am at. It's outside of the Q-snap. And I believe, if I remember correctly, there are about 76,000 stitches in this, which is not huge, but not small, obviously. And yeah, also stitching this on that diagonal. I guess you can kind of see up here there's kind of diagonal lines, which you can see that on the back too, where my diagonals are. Yeah, I just started. I've been wondering like whether or not to park the threads on the bottom for the next row, and I decided to do that because, and I have yet to test this theory, I don't know if this is true, but then you can stop at the straight line instead of worrying about feathering it, because the floss on the back is just going to start the next diagonal, and technically you'll just have the diagonal lines. I don't know, if you're a full coverage stitcher, let me know if that's the case. Or if you still get lines and be like, Kaylee, you should still feather it, let me know that too. Or just don't, that's fine too. I'm in a very, everything is fine, it's fine. It's okay mode. Okay. I've been teaching all day, my voice is kind of tired. So, plans. I had a moment this week because Hade was having a sale, and there's one specific Hade that I'm going to start maybe it'll be a birthday start. I don't know. My birthday's on May 31st. But my pattern buying ban is done on May 28th. And Hade was having a sale, and I posted on my Instagram. I was like, should I go against my pattern buying ban and buy this pattern? And 76% people said yes. But I didn't listen. You enablers, I did not listen to you. I'm just kidding. Mostly it was because I just waffled back and forth for so long that the sale was over and I couldn't buy it anyway on sale. So hopefully, if they're not having a sale on the day that my ban is up, I might just wait, because I mean I have enough projects to last me a lifetime. Well, not a lifetime, but I do have plenty of projects to start. And so yeah, I don't know. We'll see. If you want to know which pattern, I think I'll post it on my Instagram. It's Randall Spangler by Heaven and Earth Designs, and it's the Van Gogh Night, which is like Starry Night except there's cats and some roses in the corner, and it's really cute. And since I decided to abandon my Starry Night whip, I will 16 minutes. I will start it in a different format. So with those cute kitties on it. So yeah, that's stitchy content. I think that's it. I hope that's it. I feel very, very like, that's all. That's all, folks. Okay, teaching story, but sort of not a story. So my strange here, hang on, let me do this first, and let me show you what my strange instrument is all about. I'm going to put my headphones on so I can hear it. So this is the Theremin, and this is a virtual version of it, so it's not a real theremin, but this is an instrument that uses an electromagnetic field. So there's an electromagnetic field around the vertical wire, or antenna, excuse me, and that one, the volume is controlled by, the pitch is controlled by the vertical one. So if your hand moves closer to the antenna, then the pitch goes higher. If you move your hand away from the antenna, the pitch goes lower. And you maybe have seen this in some videos, and I'll link some videos down below. And then the one on the left side, this one controls the volume. So if your hand is closer to the antenna, then the volume is lower. If your hand goes up, then it gets louder. So it's a two-handed instrument that you do not touch to play, which is very uncommon in music. Usually you're touching something. You touch a piano to play it. You touch a violin to play it. All the other instruments, you ukulele. And so when this was invented in 1919 by a guy who liked to change his name from Lou Theremin to Leon Theremin, back to Lou Theremin to Leon Theremin, it was groundbreaking. And so if you're interested, you can keep watching, and I'm going to tell you sort of the history of the guy who invented it, because he's very intriguing and interesting. And it was fun to try to teach my 5th and 6th graders about this. So the guy who invented the theremin, he was born in Russia, at that time the Soviet Union, and he invented this instrument because he studied cello when he was in school, and then studied physics, which are not usually subjects that you study together. I don't know, maybe it was different in the 1900s. But he developed this instrument, the theremin, because he was really interested in electronics and the mechanics of it. And he played it at the 8th Annual Electrotechnical Congress in the Soviet Union in 1921. So 100 years ago, yay, 100 years of the theremin. And Vladimir Lenin heard it and said, ooh, we could use this technology for listening devices and for alarm systems. So Lenin recognized that the technology was there and that he could use it. And so he basically hired Theremin, or Theremin, as he sometimes called himself, And he kind of put him straight into the middle, and he was involved in the prior to the KGB, what the organization was, the Commissariat for Internal Affairs. And so Theremin was like put right in the middle. And then he moved to New York and met Albert Einstein, George Gershwin, and Charlie Chaplin, the Rockefellers. He met all these people in the United States, but still was kind of acting as like a double agent. So he would report back to the Kremlin and tell them, you know, kind of what was going on in the scientific world in the United States. So he was eventually, he married an African-American woman in the United States in the 1930s, which, as you can imagine, was not accepted socially. And so he ended up like becoming in debt from traders and stuff. And so he went back to the Soviet Union and was put in jail because he was caught with anti-Soviet propaganda. So he was now, as the presentation says, he was now the man who invented alarm systems for the prisons, was now under lock and key, because he invented like metal detectors and stuff that was used in prisons like Alcatraz and whatnot. I guess I can go back to this camera so you can see me up close. Where was I? And then he was basically forced to develop listening devices, and usually listening devices were battery powered or wired, and he developed one that was not. It would operate on a frequency like with a radio frequency. And in the US embassy in Moscow, they presented the US ambassador with this wooden plaque of the seal of the United States, not knowing that there was a listening device inside of it. And Theremin had created that listening device, and it was in the US embassy for 7 years. So under 5 US ambassadors, talking with Harry Truman and I think Eisenhower a little bit, because this was in I think it got discovered in 52, I believe. You might have to check me on that. But they discovered this listening device, and they were like, how in the world does this thing work? Because it did not have wires, it didn't have a battery, it would only work on a frequency. And it was discovered by accident. A British ambassador discovered the frequency and was like, what is this channel? Why do I hear people talking to the President of the United States? And so it was discovered, and then, of course, we tried to use that technology against the Soviet Union, and and this was when Stalin was involved and whatnot. So this guy, this is so funny to tell all my to learn about this with my students, because they were like, why are we talking about history in music class? But it's so fascinating that this musical instrument was used for such high technology advancement. Or, boy, that was a sentence. It was used for technology advancement when that was a huge part of the two countries, the United States and Russia, Soviet Union, sort of butting heads on everything. So, yeah, if you want to read more about it or listen to some recordings of the theremin, I will put the link to the presentation. It's a Google Arts and Culture presentation, which is really good, and my students have enjoyed it, and it's pretty interactive. Like, you can watch YouTube videos with it as well. One of the slides is in German. It's great. It's telling you about Clara Rockmore, who is one of the best known theremin players in history, which this is really cool. She played the cello to begin with, and then she got a hand injury and was unable to play the cello anymore, so she switched to the theremin, where she didn't have to touch the instrument. So that's your sort of teacher minute. I did not really intend for it to be long, but I guess if you didn't want to hear about it, you have clicked off by now. And I will also put the link to the virtual theremin so you can try it out on your computer. It's not it can be hand powered, but it's kind of laggy if you're trying it with your web camera, but it's possible. But if not, you can use your mouse on it and move it closer and further away. And there is a volume control on it as well, but it's backwards. If you put the mouse down, it gets louder, which is opposite of what the theremin is supposed to be. See, these are the things I think about when I'm teaching my kids, and what's going to be accurate for them. So, I've been talking for too long. I will see you next week for a Stitch with me, and hopefully soon in some lives. I think our computer is coming soon. You say my floss tube is over, I have nothing more today. Why so sad? Remember we made an arrangement. I upload every Wednesday. You'll be back soon, you see. You remember how to get to me. Click the link. I'm singing my students one. You remember how to get to me. Flosstube. Oh, there we go. Flosstube and the gram. Subscribe and follow to see my progress in the stitchy land. Da 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 You're on your own. By the way, comment below if I should give Darcy a ukulele lesson. Bye!